How's it, everyone? Welcome back to episode 14. Clean break between episodes. We've been called into a war, the first war of Aragonese succession. We cannot leave our ally behind, so let's join the war. Okay, so a couple of bits of housekeeping just before the war starts. What are they actually fighting for? They want to take the capital Barcelona and install Agnes von Schauenberg to the crown. I don't really know who she is or why they care about that. So it might be that we don't really care about the war all too much. But I want to take this as a chance to maybe have a pop at Spain just to get a barometer of how strong our army is overall. Next thing we want to do is obviously up all our maintenance for our armies and fort defense and so on. And we're also going to up our minting to about 0.25 per turn. What we're going to try and do is drag this out a little bit and raise all of our levies. We're going to try and drag this out a little bit and get us to the point that we can start sieging some of their locations. I've had a look at their fortification and they have now fortified the border, so it's going to be very difficult for us to actually get out. We could get up here actually, I think, through this bit, but other than that their border is completely secure, so there's not going to be much by way of easy victories for us, unfortunately, but I do want to take this as a chance to see if we can have a pop at Spain and see how they contest against us. Navy's going to come down here. We're going to try and control the Strait of Gibraltar, really. They do have one pretty nasty navy, and that's the 4th Navy. It's got loads of heavy ships, so we want to be careful of that. But other than that, I think we're chilling. We're going to build a cannon maker, start getting ready for these Houffenice that are going to come through. So where can we build it? Lisbon seems to be the best because we've got stone in Extremadura, so let's do that. We'll build one. And finally, in terms of the actual statistics, 1 versus 1, they have a lot of units. They got 63,000 pretty much, whereas we've only got 20,000. I'm sort of relying on the fact that they don't have a very strong professional army, and the majority of their army is made up of levies. That's kind of the only hope that I think that we can get through, but we'll see. Okay, our levies are through. I think we'll consolidate everyone together. We'll have one big army, and when it runs out, basically. All of our trade has been cancelled with Spain or Castile. Makes complete sense to do that. I think we're also, just thinking it through, we're going to take Dinis away from this. We'll put Jehan d'Artois in his place, and the reason for that is because Dinis is now the leader of the army. He's got pretty good military stats, and I think we need to take every chance we can with this. See if we can catch this navy. There's a 17,000 strong army here, but it's all levies. And all levies as well. So this might be a good chance to try and see if we can catch these guys out. Oh god, that's the 4th Navy, so let's get out of here. Again, let's just catch out their smaller fleets, see if we can do a bit of damage to them. Well, they look nearly identical. There we go, we got them. I think we destroyed a ship as well, which is great. Alright, let's go in. First battle. Let's have them. We're absolutely rinsing them. Look at this. Flank's gone. Second flank's gone. Killed 9,000 of their troops. That's fantastic. Probably need a couple other sergeantries though. Armories rather. So we'll build one. Who's got the most men? Beja. Setúbal. That's all we can afford right now. We're at 10% winning war score. We won a few battles, so the battlefield is leveling a bit. Okay, so we'll go through the Alcantara, and then we'll push to Plasencia, the capital. Oh shit, we got caught here, I didn't see. Our navy's been pretty much wiped out, that's bad. Although we lost no ships, so that's good. We'll just rest up easy now. Apparently you can't push through, you actually have to capture the fort, so that's my bad, I messed that up. Yeah, Han's dead, God's sake. Let's catch their army again. Killed 7,000 of their men. Let's catch them again. Oh, look at all this damage. 12,000, we just wiped their entire stack. That's amazing. Look at that. We've actually leveled the playing field. Okay, it looks like it's just a race now to siege versus the Castilian siege. If we can get this place, we might be able to come through and smack these guys because they're also just levies. And then they're pretty much left with a standing army. They are a professional army, which will probably kill us. But maybe they'll start to feel a bit sad because they've lost a lot of their troops. That might convince them to change. We'll have to see. We've had an exceptional year, so what we could go for is stability, money, or research progress. We'll go for research progress, try and push us to getting these Hoofnice, which will help with the siege. But for now, there's not really too much to do other than wait for these sieges to carry on. Cool, we've got the Hoofnice now, so let's get one of them straight away. Gosh, it's very expensive, but we'll get one through, and then we'll get them up here to support our army. For God's sake, whilst we're picking the new tech, Pierre Durgal has been putting guild before country. We can't really afford to kill him, so we'll have to take the stability hit. And I think in terms of the research, we'll go down towards getting better cavalry, because we've still got Age 1 cavalry, so we'll go for commissioned officers first. The development of professional armies has led to the appointment of permanent command positions, offices granted by direct commission from the ruler. What this will mean is when we eventually have an army that is more than just the front, and we've got reserves, it will put them in the right spots. Okay, the Hoofnice is done. Let's go and join the main army. Do have to keep an eye on this first army because they are pretty nasty. Don't know what the Papal States are doing. They're going to walk in and kill themselves? What's going on here? Cool, so we've got Benavente. Fantastic, that's really big. Now, let's just slow down speed a sec. Where the hell are we going to try and go? Okay, I'm going to pop up and grab Leon first. That should be an easy switch. And then maybe we'll come down and try and smack this army. Cool, we've got Leon now as well. I think we go for the capital. Screw it, let's see if we can flip the capital. Okay, there, Levy fleet has gone back to Jaca. I'm going to see if we can mob them. Okay, we've captured Palencia. Annoyingly, we're actually kind of stuck in this zone of control, which is a bit stupid. So we've walked into Valladolid and now we can't get back out. So that's not good. Oh, we won. The peace is done. So let's have a look at what's happened. Castile have accepted a peace offering. A white peace. So we didn't get anything for it, annoyingly. But we suffered significantly less casualties than they did. We obviously took it as a good chance to run our troops out, which is cool. And we gave the Castilians a loss. So happy days there. Now let's get our guys home. Cool, so overall that was a pretty good war with respect to comparing our land strength versus Castile. Of course, if it was all against us, I think we'd have some issues, but we were effectively able to damage them quite significantly. On the bad side is they massively hampered our navy, so we need to build up our navy yet again, and also we need to drop this minting down to a negative. But what I did learn is that the heavy ships are extremely important. So we'll build a heavy ship and start having a actual proper war fleet. That'll probably just stay in port because when I was doing some research, what I saw was that heavy ships are terrible for maritime presence and all sorts of things like that. But they are the foundation of any strong military for a navy. So we'll keep these in port ready to attack, and then we'll build up some of our lighter ships for maritime presence sake. Okay, let's try and boost some of the conversion efforts in the Canaries. Two options we have really is a monastery or a cathedral. The cathedral is objectively better with a 20% conversion speed, however, very much more expensive. So we'll go for the monastery first. We'll build one in Maxorata and one in Aguirre as well. Of course, let's continue hamstringing Castile so we can corrupt officials. It costs us 0.88 per month, which is nothing, and it reduces their efficiency by 10%, so that's really good. Okay, look, yeah, so our maritime presence is starting to come down now, so we need to build a couple of ships, and then I want to try and maybe get back out exploring. Okay, the bark is the way to go for maritime presence. It's got 0.14, it's the best, so we'll build 1, 2, 3. Okay, fantastic. We've had the commissioned officers a little bit late. Obviously, the war is over now, but still going to be useful nonetheless. So research-wise, there's quite a lot to look at, really. I think I'm going to go for court accounting, reduces the cost of court, basically cancels out that privilege we gave to the nobility. So that will basically end up being a bit cheaper for us, increase our income over time. I think that's okay for now. The court is the symbol of our country, and its prosperity shall represent that of the nation. However, this does not mean that the court can spend more than the country can sustain. There should be proper accounting for what is spent at court. So we have another parliament, and I want to go for one of these two: increase naval infrastructure or shipbuilding. We're going to go for shipbuilding because we get 2 very cheap docks in 2 of our towns. Naval infrastructure is good for development, but for now I think we want to try and bump up the number of sailors we have so that we can keep ahead of the exploration race. And furniture is some of our most productive trades, so we want to try and keep the stockpile up. So we'll build another one in Viseu and one in Coimbra. They both got good production bonuses. I also want to build some overseas trading posts, particularly in the Alexandria market, because they are like the only place that we can get incense from, and we often lose out because we don't have enough trading advantage. So we'll build 3-4 overseas trading posts in Barca, which is all in this market here. Okay, and Tedote, which I think is in the Canaries, has changed support in favour, giving us 5 prestige and just enough support to get us there, which is fantastic. I've also noticed that conversion efforts are doing 0 because it's actually changed by control. So we need to increase the control in order for it to actually work. So we'll increase province control in the Canaries. That should help to, yeah, look, it's gone up to 1 already. So now we'll actually start converting some of the Guanche people. And we've also had another event. I'm not going to read it because it's just simply 5 support for the Parliament. Fantastic news. Oh gosh, and Joan, our wife, is dead. England are looking to break the alliance. Oh my god, this is serious. Following relations with us are about to be broken. Breaking alliance. Why? Because our strength is low. Their trust. Okay, so can we profess trust with them? And that's solved it for now. Jeez, okay, so we need to be really careful now because it looks like the alliance is teetering. We've had a political crisis. Political crises occur from time to time. They often involve a conflict between the king and the parliament, unrest among the nobility, or conflicts of interest between nobility, burghers and clergy. One such crisis has recently cast public doubt on our governing institutions. Uh-oh. So, as quick as we've got that prestige, we're going to have to lose it. I can't really accept a 25% reduction in our cabinet efficiency. It is only 2 years, but I think the prestige is better to lose, unfortunately. Let's build a couple more barks as well. So let's build 1, 2, 3 more barks. And the 2 docks are agreed at basically half price, which is great. Okay, I think we're going to get Joao married to Marie de Bourbon. I'm not sure if this is going to give us a bonus to France, but Bourbon are obviously a vassal of France, and that will help. Plus, she's quite young, so hopefully we can actually have a child. So, consort Marie de Bourbon. Didn't help with the marriage, which is a shame. Should really. Okay, so we've had wrong signals. The clergy have asked us to intercede in a marriage between 2 families of the nobility. The issue lies in the bride being of a different faith than one the clergy support. Nobility marriages tend to be public affairs, so the subsequent festival would attract a lot of attention and send an improper message about how our kingdom feels about other faiths. Our religious censorship laws are not meant to intervene in this, never mind how this would damage our relationship with the nobility. This is a great opportunity to indebt the clergy to us. I think we will take the nobility satisfaction because the clergy is already very happy with us. Love is free. Also, we do not want angry nobility. That's exactly right. Also, I've made up my mind about the slave conversion law. We're obviously a very Catholic nation, and being of the wrong faith is going to cause problems with our slaves. We don't have a lot of slaves at the moment, but obviously that will change over time. So we will go for forced slave conversion. How can we expect slaves to obey and be loyal if they're not willing to embrace our own beliefs and instead cling to their foolish superstitions? Only by forcing them to abandon their heathenry and accept the true faith wholeheartedly can we ensure their obedience. Cool, so our Carrack is done, our first major ship. Now, looking at it, I think it's best to just mothball him and leave it in the province capital because their naval presence, maritime presence isn't fantastic. But they are very, very powerful when at war, so we can just leave them here, just chilling. And we're also going to build a library in Setúbal. It's going to come after the dock, but we want to try and keep our research speed high, obviously, so it makes sense. Rather annoyingly, Etel Frederick, despite his fantastic stats, is part of a rebellion, which I don't even think is in our country, by the way, but as a result of that, can't be in our cabinet. So that's really good. Fantastic, we've got court accounting, so I already know what next one we're going to go for, and that is the one that allows us to train people up. Yeah, encourage urbanization. It is said that chaos is a ladder for those seeking higher status. For us, this ladder comes not from chaos, but from order, as we have systematized pathways allowing our people to improve their social standing through merit. We not only permit such advancement, we actively encourage it. We'll go for that just because we can then finally tackle this problem of never having enough workforce to work in the various different RGOs and buildings. Unfortunately, with the war in Castile, we did lose out on the Casus Belli on Morocco. To be honest, I don't think we would have been able to beat them anyway, but it's a shame to have missed out on the chance. Whilst we got a bit of cash as well, I'm going to use this as a chance to build a university in Porto, our second city. Universities are really good for literacy, promotion, all sorts of things. So it makes sense to try and get them. Gosh, another colonial disaster. We'll spare no effort, the 3 ducats, because obviously that's super cheap. Still no kids for Joao. Something wrong with this guy. I think it's also time to head off on another exploration, so we will go from Boa Vista, we'll send Gilles de Cornouailles off to, what's that, the Gulf of Guinea. We've had a fortunate peasant. Oh, this is that artist from before. So he came in and he lost all his money. By virtue of the connections that he has made in our court, as well as some shrewd business decisions, the peasant Felipe de Rajoy has managed to amass a significant fortune that rivals even the success amongst our burghers. Most are already assuming that he belongs, but is that really the message we should send? Yes, we can accept it, because that's a rags to riches story. Good stuff, good for him. Okay, there's nearly 5,000 Guanche people here, so we're also going to build a monastery in Tamaracete to try and boost that conversion effort there as well. Cool, so we've got encourage urbanization. This is really impactful for us because as we build different buildings, it will allow us to upskill people quite quickly. It's not too many at the moment, but it basically removes the barrier of having sufficient workforce now. Let's build another 2 levels of tools in Lisbon. And I think we'll go for meritocracy next in terms of research. 5% flat rate efficiency of our cabinet, that's really good. Merit is not exclusive to the upper echelons of our society. It can be found everywhere, even among the humblest individuals. By creating standardized exams that measure this merit, effort, and overall competency, we can find intellectual jewels hidden in plain sight and properly appoint them for the betterment of our nation. Let's also build up some paper in Porto, so we'll do another 2 levels in Porto. And lastly, we'll use a bit of our surplus money to expand on some of the RGOs. So we'll do the salt in Alcacer. I think it should automatically update, it does. Do the iron in Odemira, the iron in Feira, and the salt in Faro, and that's all of our money. And off we set off for the Gulf of Guinea. Look, now that we've built the various different overseas trading posts, it's only Egypt who have a higher trading advantage in Alexandria for us, so we should be able to consistently get a bit of pepper, maybe also some incense, which is good. In further trying to undermine Spain, we will get Arguin agitating for liberty. So this should make them disloyal? No, they're still a little bit high. Okay. Again, I don't want to spend too much money on our vassals, but I do want to build the marketplace in Santiago, because if we jump over to our budget here, you can see that we're getting a tiny amount from the colonial nation. Now, if we can start to improve their tax efficiency and whatnot, that will obviously come back to us as well. Let's build another 2 ships. 1, 2 barks. And we've got meritocracy, fantastic. So what next? The abacus seems pretty good. An extra 2% tax efficiency is always helpful. Abaci may be ancient technology, but it is precisely thanks to proper accounting tools and ledgers that we are able to keep accurate accounts of our wealth. Without these tools, the talented experts who knew how to use them, we would be blind to the actual richness of our country. Oh God, no. So our brother and heir, Dinis, has died. Jesus. His body has been draped by whom none known in a white cloth now stained red by his lost vitae. They say he was found by his horse in a clearing in the woods. We know the place they speak of. His face is calm, almost serene. The courtiers reach out to touch. The terrible reality of the situation dawns on all. The cold by all is felt of death. Oh God, this is awful. Seemingly unlikely hunting accident. Sounds like he was assassinated. Shit. So what does that mean for our lineage? So the buck will pass to Crown Prince Fernando, who is pretty useless. That's real sad, man. Dinis was awesome. Joao has got his second trait, an intricate web weaver, constantly hatching new plots. It's quite good for us with respect to the spy network. But to be honest, I'm still grieving the loss of Dinis. This is very problematic. We need to get Fernando married to someone, I think, now. Maybe here, Isabelle de Valois. She's got pretty good stats. She seems like a good fit. Gosh, that is not good at all. It's crazy how the game can just pull the rug out from underneath you, man. Let's keep building buildings in Lisbon. We are subtly trying to go for this quest here, which is 41.5% employment. But because there's so much population migration, it's hard to keep up. So we'll build one Spinners Guild, one Tools Guild, and another one of each, I think. How on earth Joao has had no children, I have no idea. Let's sabotage Castile's relationship with France. Just trying to cause them issues, to be honest, just being a bit naughty. They are rivals as well, so it would be absolutely amazing if we can somehow manifest a war between these two chaps. We've had the abacus, fantastic. Because I think it's tier 1, it researches it quite quickly. Next tech I'm going to go for is cavalrymen. Cavalrymen are light cavalry, sometimes armed with ranged weapons used to attack enemy lines, although they may sometimes be ready to charge into close combat. And then I'll go straight for heavy cavalrymen as well. A heavier type of cavalry, fully armoured and trained for shock charges, thanks to its heavy armour and armament, which should lead to the disruption of the enemy line. So for those of you who don't know, the combat system is very complicated, but in simple terms, it works out to the amount of damage per unit. Now, when you upgrade from armoured horsemen to the next tier, they double from 200 to 400, so you effectively double their combat power, on top of all of the extra bonuses they get by way of increased combat strength and so on. So it's really important to keep your troops up to modern standards. Oh my god, we've had a son. How amazing is that? Afonso, maybe in honour of the boy, we'll call him Dinis. Lovely stuff, absolutely lovely stuff. So it took him a while to get going, but Joao has finally plopped out a kid. So the only risk that I see now is that Joao dies before young Dinis is ready to ascend to the throne. So we need to be a bit careful, because that could cause a succession crisis. Yeah, I'm going to start a new colonial charter on the Guinean coast. Funnily enough, these islands, Bisagos, I actually was reading about them, and they were, for a very long period of time, completely isolated. So there's actually a WHO, World Health Organization, hospital here, because most people have not been exposed to other diseases and so on. And historically it was a Portuguese colony as well, so it's in line with the historic context. Build another level of paper, let's do 2 actually, in Porto, because the university there will obviously need a bit of extra paper. Alright, it's rolled round for another Hortes Gerais, and we've had the good one, promote urbanization, so we will do that. Ponte de Sor is over here. It's got sand, which is a pretty crap RGO, and it is already connected, so that's a pretty good place to urbanize, so happy with that. And we've very quickly had the Burghers of Evora, which is extra 5%. Fantastic. Okay, so Castelo Branco changes stance in debate, so we've lost that 5% we just got. Not ideal. Okay, we will do the plutocratic movement because this is helpful for us. Hang on, let's just have a look at this. So we get 5 support again, and then I think we will still go for this because we are trying to push plutocracy. So that's good, and we're at 59%. So that should be enough, really. We've had an exceptional year. Seems like these are happening quite often. I might push for the research progress, so that's pushed us to get cavalry, and then the next one is when we can upgrade. It seems to be saying we can upgrade them to cavalrymen, but I'm worried that will mean that they're no longer armoured horsemen. So I'm going to leave it and see if we can upgrade it later. But yeah, look at that. We're trying to change tribesmen to peasants or labourers or whatever. 860%. So that won't take very long. And we have passed the parliament. It's a good job, actually. I kind of forgot about it. So here we go. So we've got another town. And the colony of the Canary Islands. We have fully colonized the Canaries. We'll keep it as part of Portugal for now. Okay, we're going to build a bridge in Porto. I thought I'd done this already, actually. I made a small mistake. I was reluctant to build the bridge originally because the benefit of the bridge is it increases proximity to the capital. And we are the capital in Lisbon, obviously, so I wasn't sure if it would actually provide benefit. But having looked into it, it actually gives a benefit to everywhere because they're all connected to the capital. So it's a really, really good thing to build. But yeah, like I said, I thought I'd built it already. Let's build a few more boats as well. Our sailors are building up. We'll build another heavy carrack. We'll build it here. And then I think we'll build a few more smaller barks. So 1, 2. Ooh, we can get an alliance with France. Hell yeah, let's do it. Boom. That's amazing. Although, stupidly, I think they might be at war and I might have just messed that up. Fantastic. We are now very secure against Castile. I'm not worried at all now. Bloody lovely. Friends in low places. It is said that every other performer, artist or thief in the capitals of our rivals is really an informant of King Joao, with a keen personal interest in the comings and goings of just about anyone with influence. Our king often sees opportunities long before our chief of espionage does. Lately, the contacts of King Joao have indicated that there are openings we might be able to use in countries of interest. This would require us to open the state coffers a bit, however. Okay. I think we could go for the spy network. It costs a little bit of money, but I like being able to spy and do nasty things to Castile. Let's steal some more maps using that. Let's steal Mali maps. Now we've got a bit more of a insight into what's going on here. Ley Mental. The struggle between the crown and the nobility is truly eternal. Each successive king has at some point tried to implement centralization policies, but often failed to do so. This has resulted in an amalgamation of many different laws that few can actively keep track of, putting a strain on our bureaucracy. To put an end to this conflict, King Joao is planning to institute Ley Mental, a landmark policy that will help put an end to this struggle. So what does it do? It gives them 25% less power and helps our control. I quite like this. Institute the law. So it will really irritate the nobility, but we'll get it sorted. And that has caused them to be quite pissed off at us. We'll take the prestige hit because I don't want to piss them off anymore. Portuguese ordnance is in, and we do have 4 of 3, so don't know how that's allowed, but very good for us. Cool, let's ask Aragon for some money, and we can use that to pay off our loan. And we've still got some left over. Okay, let's use that money to build a few scriptoriums, because I think we're a bit low on books. Build 2 levels in Lisbon, 1 in Porto, and 2 in Viseu. And we've discovered the Gulf of Guinea. I was just actually looking to see if we've done that. Can we get out there? No, we can't. Not ideal. We've got heavy cavalrymen, that's fantastic. So I wonder if now we can upgrade them. It does upgrade them to heavy cavalrymen. Let's do that. Let's get our cavalry all upgraded, so now they will reinforce, which is good. Okay, I'm finally going to switch towards culture, I think, because I would like to be a cultural superpower as well as everything else. So we'll go for patron of the arts, and it means we can invest in culture. We have an extra artist. We can commission art, so we can actually create works of art. Our quest towards cultivating a culturally sophisticated society begins here. Our artistic creations will go down in history as the most marvelous wonders of the era. And of course, let's build another spy network in Castile. Oh, we've had another son. It's trying to name him Dinis as well. Obviously not. Let's call him Porto, just because it's funny. Okay, let's build our first building in Ponte de Sor. So we'll build a papermakers guild to start supporting these scriptoriums that are coming up. And last but not least, let's build a few marketplaces to enable us to trade a little bit more. So we'll build 1 in Setúbal, 1 in Beja, 1 in Porto, 1 in Viseu. Crown Prince Dinis can have an education. He doesn't have any traits, but maybe we'll stick him on administrative for now. Okay, and he's intelligent, which is actually good because we've done it on the right thing. Opposing military schools. The occasional hostilities that erupt between our opposing military schools have become more frequent as of late. If we do not intervene soon, we risk further disunity amongst our armed forces. So attack defense or have a bit of both. I think we can go for that. We can get a bit of army tradition, use a bit of stability, but we have a little bit of a stockpile. Oh god. Oh god, what's just happened? Someone has died. King Joao has died from pneumonia. Oh dear.